we in Tanzania have also introduced low-cost and long-term agricultural financing to the private sector, including establishment of a facility at the central bank that enables commercial banks to borrow for onward lending to farmers at single-digit interest rate. We have also recapitalized the Tanzania Agricultural Development Bank and contributing to growth in agriculture financing. Fourth, cognizance of the challenges emanating from climate change, Tanzania has embraced climate-smart agriculture, including regenerative production systems, that is, soil health technologies, use of less on-farm inputs like agrochemicals and fertilizers, while promoting judicious use of off-farm inputs. We have also embarked on using inclusive green growth tools, which is a framework for capacity building and measuring the levels of compliance for small, medium, and large-scale producers, as well as processors and agribusinesses. And in developing the tools, Tanzania collaborates with local NGOs and international organizations such as the World Wildlife Fund, CARE International, the Nature Conservancy, and the International Union for Conservation of Nature. This is largely championed under the Southern Agricultural Corridor of Tanzania, SAGCOT. Fifth, we have also scaled up investment in agriculture research and education, and this involves working closely with universities and agricultural research institutions to develop advanced farming techniques, pesticides, high-yield seeds, promoting agribusinesses, and encouraging the youth to take interest in agriculture. We are also leveraging PPPs, especially in construction of irrigation schemes, provision of extension services, training and retooling of extension staff, as well as promotion of farmer-to-farmer learning. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, despite the successes highlighted, there are still some unresolved challenges, especially low production and productivity. Furthermore, like many other countries, Tanzania remains vulnerable to adverse effects of climate change, pest outbreaks, and soil degradation. Other challenges include limited access to right technologies, underfunding of scientific research, and limited value addition. Inadequate financing of food value chains is also still a major constraint, mainly due to high cost of borrowing for the agriculture sector. And additionally, women and youth tend to be the most financially excluded segments of the population. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, it is my firm conviction that such challenges can and must be resolved with transformative ideas from this summit. Allow me to lay out just 4 areas for your consideration in subsequent discussions. First, on the supply side, I think Africa needs to harness existing scientific knowledge, including indigenous technology, to produce and process enough food for its people and for the global markets. And therefore, African governments should take requisite measures to provide small-scale farmers with affordable inputs, knowledge, skills, and finance to enhance productivity along food value chains. We also need to scale up digitalization and financing of scientific research. We must also appreciate that our youth and women are central to our food systems and need to harness their growing numbers and ensure they benefit from their sweat and innovativeness. In particular, we should endeavor to make agriculture enticing to the younger generation through the use of modern technology, easy access to land, startup capital, and markets, particularly targeting activities like horticulture, which pay off relatively quickly. Second, I think there is need to put an end to exploitative practices to the farmers by enforcing the use of standard weights and measures, as well as banning forward market practices in order to protect the farmers. And in Tanzania, we have successfully overcome such malpractices in a number of value chains such as meat and rice and beans, but we still need to extend it to other agro-produce. Third, food systems transformation needs a multi-sectoral development approach, including easing supply chains and movement of food commodities. I therefore urge African countries to honor the regional trade arrangements, and in particular, the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, by complying with trade protocols and removing non-tariff barriers. The growth of our private sector and its success in the regional and global markets hinge on how supportive our policies are. And lastly, peace and security are important prerequisites for functioning food systems. Millions of displaced people and refugees in Africa and in the world have had their lives and food production capacities disrupted. These are farmers and livestock keepers who used to be self-reliant, but because of wars and conflicts, they suffer the indignity of depending on the generosity and goodwill of others. And this must stop. We should embrace peaceful ways of resolving conflicts and ensure peace and security prevail in our continent and other parts of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, with these remarks, I now have the honor and pleasure to announce that the Africa Food Systems Summit, the 2023 summit, is officially opened, and I'm now ready to proceed with the launching of the 2023 Africa Agricultural Status Report.